the remote village of Hollow Creek, nestled deep in the Appalachian Mountains, where the trees grew so thick they blocked out the sun and the rivers ran black with forgotten secrets, young Thomas Reed discovered something that should have stayed buried. It was the summer of his 16th year, a time when boys chased adventures and ignored the warnings of elders. Thomas lived with his widowed mother in a ramshackle cabin on the edge of the woods, where the ground was always damp and the air heavy with the scent of moss and decay. The villagers spoke in hushed tones about the old mine shafts that riddled the hills, abandoned after a collapse in the 1920s that claimed 20 lives. The earth swallowed them whole, the old-timers said, and it's hungry for more. Thomas didn't believe in such tales. He was bold, with a mop of unruly brown hair and eyes that sparkled with mischief. One sweltering afternoon, while exploring with his dog, Buster, he stumbled upon a hidden entrance, a jagged hole concealed by vines and fallen branches. Buster whined, hackles raised, but Thomas laughed it off. "Come on, boy, it's just an old hole." He tied a rope to a nearby tree and lowered himself down, flashlight clenched in his teeth. The shaft dropped 20 feet into darkness, the walls slick with moisture and etched with pickaxe marks from long ago. At the bottom, the air was colder, thicker, like breathing through wet cloth. Tunnels branched off in all directions, their mouths yawning black voids. Thomas chose one at random, Buster's barks echoing from above. The beam of his flashlight revealed rusted rails and scattered tools, relics of the mine's heyday. But deeper in, something caught his eye, a glint in the dirt. He dug with his hands, unearthing a small, tarnished locket. Inside, a faded photograph of a miner, his face stern, eyes piercing even in sepia. As he pocketed it, a low rumble shook the tunnel. Dust sifted from the ceiling, and Buster's barks turned frantic. Thomas ran back, scrambling up the rope just as rocks tumbled down. He emerged gasping, heart pounding, the locket clutched tight. Just a tremor, he told himself. But that night, dreams plagued him, dark figures lurking in shadows, whispering his name. The changes began subtly. The next morning, Thomas found scratches on his arms, thin red lines like fingers had dragged across his skin while he slept. His mother, weary from long shifts at the diner, dismissed it as branches from his foolish wandering. But Buster growled at him, backing away with tail tucked. Thomas shrugged it off, but the locket felt heavier in his pocket, warm against his thigh. That evening, as dusk fell and the crickets sang their eerie chorus, Thomas heard the whispers. Faint at first, like wind through leaves, but soon words formed. Mine. Give back. He sat up in bed, sweat beading on his forehead. The locket on his nightstand glowed faintly, the miner's photo seeming to move, eyes following him. He slammed it in a drawer, but the whispers persisted, seeping from the walls. By day 3, the village noticed oddities. Cows in the fields lowed in distress, milk curdling overnight. Birds fell from the sky, dead with no marks. Old Mrs. Hargrove claimed she saw figures in the woods, tall, emaciated, covered in dirt. The lost miners, she muttered, crossing herself. Thomas confided in his friend Sam, a lanky boy with a stutter. "It's the locket," Thomas said, showing it. Sam paled. "Throw it away, Tom. My grandpa said those mines hold grudges." But Thomas couldn't. The locket called to him, urging him back to the shaft. That night, the whispers grew to voices, multiple, overlapping, begging, then demanding. Return us, or join us. Buster howled, scratching at the door to escape. Thomas's mother woke, face pale. What's happening? He lied. Bad dream. But her eyes lingered on the drawer. The hallucinations started then. In the mirror, Thomas saw not his reflection, but the miner, face caked in coal dust, mouth open in a silent scream. He smashed the glass, cutting his hand. Blood dripped, and the voices laughed, a guttural sound that vibrated the floor. His mother bandaged him, worried. You're not yourself, son. He wasn't. The locket burned against his skin, and he felt a presence inside him, cold and alien, pushing his thoughts aside. The village elder, Mr. Elias, a bent man with a cane carved from mined timber, visited. Boy, what have you disturbed? Thomas showed the locket. Elias recoiled. The foreman, Josiah Black. He caused the collapse, greed for more ore. The men cursed him as they died. That locket's his anchor. Elias advised burying it in consecrated ground, but as he left, a rock slide blocked the road, trapping them. That night, the entity escalated. Shadows in the cabin lengthened unnaturally, forming shapes, hands reaching from corners, faces pressing against windows. Buster attacked one, yelping as it dissolved into smoke. Thomas's mother prayed, rosary beads clicking. The voices chanted, "Down, down with us." Thomas knew he had to return it. At dawn, he sneaked out, locket in hand, Buster trailing. The woods were silent, no birdsong, no rustle. The shaft waited, vines parted like an invitation. He lowered himself, the descent longer than remembered. At the bottom, the tunnels pulsed, walls breathing. He walked, flashlight flickering, voices guiding. Deeper. Home. In a chamber, skeletons lay, 20, arranged in a circle, bones clean but for black dust. In the center, a pit yawned. The locket tugged, pulling him toward it. Join. The voices cooed. He threw it in. Silence, then a roar, ground shaking, bones rattling to life. Skeletons rose, flesh reforming in rags, eyes glowing. Josiah Black at a 4, locket around his neck. You freed us, he rasped. Now pay the price. Thomas ran, tunnels collapsing behind. Buster's barks above spurred him. He climbed, rocks falling, hands grabbing his ankles. He kicked free, emerging as the shaft sealed. Home, his mother waited, relieved. But the village changed. People disappeared. Sam, Mrs. Hargrove, Elias. Bodies found in woods, drained, black dust in mouths. The entity was loose, hungry. Thomas heard voices still in his head. More. One night, his mother didn't wake, dust on her lips. He lives alone now, the cabin a prison. The woods call, shafts reopening. He knows it's coming for him, the lurking beneath, patient, eternal. The end, or the beginning.